Well, hello everybody. Welcome back once again to JJ's PC Build. You know it is JJ with you once again. And also, too, we're back at it with graphics card nightmares right here. Before we get started, I just want to do y'all just do a little bit of quick reminder and a backflash. Excuse me. I was reviewing Computex all through the week, and it seems like AMD, NVIDIA, and Intel, they all didn't come out with any graphics cards. So when we get ready to do the graphics card pricing for the month, that will be coming on Graphics Card Nightmares for the next week. I know I said I was going to do it this week, but I was hoping they would have come out with new graphics cards. But they didn't, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go till next week and then do all the pricing then. But today we're going to go through Amazon, we're going to go through Newegg and Micro Center to see what they got cooking right on their front page. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it, and I'll give you a little commentary going all the way through the whole video. So let's get to it. All right, we made it back on Amazon's homepage. Let's see what they got cooking. Well, let's see. They got a 4060 Ti 8 gigabytes for $379. If I remember right, last week the price was $79 cheaper, but
the more you buy, the more you save.
It looks like they done raised the prices on some NVIDIA, some AMD, and so on. So we're not going to take and review these third-party cards because it'll be a waste of your time. Some people, it might not be a waste of time, but the thing is we don't want it to be a waste of your time. You spending $105 on a card that if you put a couple more $100 with it, you get a better card. So I really don't want to put you into that spot, especially when they're 3.0s, the PCI Express 3.0s. And they're GDDR5, so I really don't want to waste your time with that. Especially when they got coming out soon, GDDR7. So that's supposed to be 1.5% faster than GDDR6X. 1.5% faster than my RTX 4070. Because that's GDDR6X. 1.5% faster is not too bad. That sounds more reasonable than what they were shelling out before. So, but I had a little bit of a heads up on what's going on with GDDR7. Asus got a 4070 Ti Super. It's a little too pricey for me. I try to stay in between $300 and $600. That is, like, to me, the sweet spot of it all. I really don't want to go above or below those marks. But you might want to go below the 300 mark and go down to the 200. But now these days, the $200 graphics cards are like, getting down there, and they're getting really slim. So you best just stay within $300 and above to about $600. That's like a nice little sweet spot for you. They got a 3050 6 gigabyte here for if you're just wanting, something fast and easy. They got one right here for $175. If you want below $200. Me, I wouldn't purchase it, is because the amount of lanes it has and the amount of VRAM it has, and it's just it doesn't hit me very really good.
The more you buy, the more you save.
But they got the 7600 XT with 16 gigabytes of VRAM for $300. I mean, you see the difference between 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 compared to 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. This has got 10 gigabytes more, but it might be like, what, 125 or something like that more. I mean, 125, $130 more. If you look at the price point, going from 6 gigabytes to 16, that's 10 extra gigabytes for $125, $130. That right there is a deal. To me, that's a deal. Just for say. So they got the 4060 right here for $310. That's 8 gigabytes. Again, I know everybody's sitting there saying, well, why do you keep going to that 7600 XT? Because I've been hearing a lot about 7600 XT with the amount of rasterization that it's got and everything else, and everybody's saying it's pretty good for gaming. It's not something that I'm trying to push upon you and say buy this. I'm just putting the recommendation out there and say it's, this is the price and that it's right there for you, and I'm showing you the price difference between the two. Even though that the 4060 might come out a little bit faster and ray tracing and stuff.
The more you buy, the more you save.
But do remember, when they come out with when AMD comes out with their new software that's going to update the RDNA to RDNA 4 or RDNA 5 for the 7000 series GPUs, and that's the 7000 series GPUs, that could advance up the ray tracing a little bit even more. It could make it more valuable. So do keep that in mind. If they boost up, and I've been hearing them boost up ray tracing, and they're working on it to get more ray tracing for their graphics cards. So, I'm not going to count this out just yet. I'm not going to count the 7600 XT out just yet. A lot of people are saying, well, the 4060 is too slow and this and that. Well, that's more power to you. Or they got this one right here for $290, the 3060, but that's going to be like almost 3 generations old. When the 50 series comes out, the 30 series is going to be 3 generations old. Go 30, well, if you say 30, 40, and 50, you got to be 3 generations, but you could say it's 2 generations.
We had the good wisdom of including Tensor Core GPUs in all of RTX. So we've been shipping AI GPUs for some time.
But still, 2 generations old, and you only get DLSS 2 with the 3060. It's still a good gaming card, don't get me wrong. It's still got GDDR6, 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Still a good card, don't get me wrong. A lot of people are using it on Steam. That's like its #1 seller right there is the 3060. But the only reason it became the #1 seller for Steam is because Amazon, Newegg, and a lot of these retailers, they've been pushing nothing but the 3060 12 gigabyte.
The more you buy, the more you save.
And that's what everybody's been buying, because everybody thinks, oh, it's a great deal when they put it on their front page. Come on, man. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, 6650 XT, I would still go for the 7600 XT. I really would. Because I kind of feel that the 8 gigabytes are starting to go out the window. So if you think 8 gigabytes is enough for you, then so be it. But if you're going to spend like this card right here for 8 gigabytes, $320, you're best to go over to the 7600 XT and pay $304. Save yourself a couple bucks. If you're not into ray tracing, cards with lots of rasterization will be really good for you. So don't beat your head over don't beat your head on the wall trying to figure out what kind of graphics card to get. If you want to save yourself a couple bucks, then that's the best way to go. But I would suggest, if you're gonna buy a $300 graphics card, and I had to really think about this. Let me kind of bring you guys into perspective. Hold on. If you're going to buy a $300 graphics card, and this is where I had to fight with myself about this, because I was thinking about getting the 7600 XT the first time over this card right here, 7800 XT, this one right here. You probably can't see it very well. Well, let me go ahead and just take and bring it to you. Let me just bring it to you so you can see it. 7800 XT Hellhound, 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Look what it says: ray tracing, AMD HyperRX, AMD Fidelity FX, and Super Resolution 3. Somebody asked me to show the box because they didn't believe that I bought a 7800 XT. They thought it was a 7800, or not a 7800, a 7600. So I had to prove it was a 7800. So there you go. You now see the 7800 XT version, that is. Overclocking wise, I really wouldn't say it's a really good overclocking card, but if you run it at stock, you probably get better performance with it out of stock. If you're running it with an X3D processor, if you're just into gaming, it's best to run it with an X3D processor. If you're not into AM5, AM4's got what? The 5600 X3D, the 5700 X3D, and it's got the 5800 X3D. And what's going to be coming out from AMD soon is the 5900 XT and the 5800 XT for AM4. Now with AM5, there's a little bit, that's for another video. I was just expressing what's going to be working with your graphics card with these, what would work best with your graphics card is what I just suggested. I have, with this 7800 XT, I have the 5600 X3D I got from Micro Center. That was a $229 processor with the $100 motherboard. So it made it $339. And I got 16 gigabytes of RAM with it too for $339. And that was G-Skill. I got G-Skill RAM with it, 3200 megahertz. I was shocked at that price, getting the RAM, the motherboard, and the processor. All I had to do was throw an M.2 drive in there, which I already had, the case, the power supply, the fans, and the rest of it, the perils that go with it. I mean, you want to talk about spending like 700, I would say 500 to build the system without the graphics card. And then for $529, 7800 XT. At the time, I paid $529 for it. So add that. So you got a $1,000 computer, less than $1,100 for a complete system. Not a problem. Just bringing that up to you. You can save money whatever way you want to save money. But with these new motherboards coming out, I don't know. Let's get back to it. Okay, now that I took up a little bit of your time, let's roll down the road and see what else we can find. Yeah, like I said, they got the 360s, the 580s, all these small little GPUs. They got a 4070 for $650. You can probably find them cheaper if you're looking for an RTX 4070 overclock version. You can probably find it cheaper. They got the white version of the 4060. They got a 4060 black, 580s. And we're at the bottom of the line for Amazon. Let's go ahead and go over to Newegg. Now we're on Newegg for $209 is 6,600. Okay. I've $209 for 6,600. I've seen them before. Way lower than that. I mean, way lower. So, like maybe 30 bucks cheaper. Prices come up, everybody, and I want you all to understand that. Look, 4070, 12 gigabytes, GDR6X. Okay. This might not be the OC version. This doesn't look like it's an OC version. So, 549, 550 bucks, not an OC version? Nah, I wouldn't pay it. 7900 XTX, price came up, 979 bucks. 3060, $290. See, 4070 Ti, 800. 4070 Ti Super, $834, $835. Wow, expensive. Expensive. Oh, that's expensive. And they got, look, save $320. Like they had that at 2,300 bucks. Oh my God. 6,600 for 200. Cheapy brand. 3050, 6 gigabytes for 182 is cheaper over there on Amazon. 3050, 6 gigabyte. Look at that. $319. This card is nowhere near worth $319, $320 almost. It's not even worth that. 4070 Super for $619. Now I remember when they first come out, it was like $599. You can get these cards for, and now that they're adding on an extra $20, $50, and so on. You know, it's just ridiculous prices.
The more you buy, the more you save.
These 4080 Super, look at that, 4080 Super, the white version, $1,300. So a $999 card, they added $300 just because it's white. ASRock Steel Legends 7900 GRE, $549. That's a deal. Right here, $550. That's a deal. Do you know why I'm saying that's a deal? I'm gonna say it's a deal to you for this fact only. The 7900 GRE is faster in rasterization when it comes to that than the RTX 4070 that I have right here. It's faster than what I have. But when it comes to ray tracing, that's kind of a 50-50 chance that my card's faster than the 7900 GRE. From the reports and the graphs that I've seen on the 7900 GRE and compared to the, what I get out of mine, yeah, it's very grim when you hit ray tracing. When you turn all the software on for it and you push it to its max, yeah, it's a little bit different story. But, to each is their own. If you like AMD, go AMD. If you like Intel, go Intel. If you like NVIDIA, go NVIDIA. I'm not picky when it comes to graphics cards. I'm picky when it comes to the hardware. If the hardware's not good enough, I'm not going to waste my time on crappy hardware. It doesn't matter what name is on it. I don't go by company names. I go by what the hardware is telling me. By the benchmarks of the hardware. That's what I go by. I don't go by what name is on the, I don't care if this says Asus. I don't care if this says NVIDIA. I don't care if this says AMD or Power Color. The names don't mean nothing. It's what the performance of the hardware can do. It's the silicon that it's built on. That's what matters the most. And if the silicon's really good and it outperforms, then you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's really great. And so far, these two cards that I have here, these are mid-range cards. They have done their job. I am impressed with both Power Color and Asus. One that's NVIDIA, one that's AMD. So, I'm very impressed with the cards. They've done their job. And they continue to do their job. So, no matter what anybody says, I know y'all say, well, go get a Super, go get this, go get that. You know what? If it meets my purpose in what I do, that's all I need. If I need something more, I'll go out and get it. But if I don't need something more, then I'm not going to worry about it. Now, this is a good deal here. 7900 XT, 20 gigabytes, GDR6 for $690. It's not a bad deal. It'll keep up with the best. So, that's not a bad deal. And that's an AMD card. So, you don't see me praising NVIDIA. You don't see me praising AMD. I'm not praising any one of them. Except for these two cards that I've seen out of all this generation series. I like these two the best. I don't need cards that overpower my CPU. I need my CPU and my GPU to work hand in hand, to work in a balance. I don't need something that's going to overpower my CPU. Or I don't need a card that, my CPU can overpower my GPU. So, you have to look at it that way. If you can get a CPU that balances with your GPU and gives you optimal performance with low amount of power, which these do, I'm impressed. So, even though these cards, the RTX 4070 does 208 watts total, and the Power Color 7800 XT AMD does 263 watts. Max watts. All day long. And they don't get hot. So, They keep in between 60 and 70 Celsius. Don't even have to worry about them. If you put them in a case that has great airflow, you won't have any problem at all. But if you put them in a case that has crappy airflow, see what I mean by this, and I'll explain it at the end. You just have to wait and make sure you subscribe and put a like on this video, and we'll make it to the end. And don't forget the notification bell neither. So, and also too, just to let you know really quick, if you want to join into the conversation that we all been having over on our Discord channel, then leave me a comment below and ask me, say, hey, can you send me a link to the Discord? I'll send you a link to my Discord, and you can be a part of that conversation that we have over there. And it's definitely a heated conversation. And it's definitely talking about today's, hardware and stuff like that, And if you're wondering if we're going to do politics over there, we try to keep the politics out of it. We just try to talk about the hardware. So there you go. If you want to be a part of our conversation and know what we're talking about in that background, then let me know, and I'll send you a Discord link, and you can join our Discord family. Moving on down the road. Let's see. Used like new. Refurbished. It's a 3060 XC gaming. No, we're moving on. I don't believe in the refurbished neither. Is because you get a refurbished, you don't know what kind of stress that GPU could have went through. So I don't recommend that for anybody, unless the seller gives you concrete evidence that has not been abused, or you get an open box from, let's say where we're getting ready to go next, Micro Center. If you get an open box GPU from Micro Center, you can always ask them and say, hey, look, can you test this out to make sure it's running 100%? I'm sure they'll help you out. So do keep that in mind. They're very helpful over there. When I spent half the day over there at Micro Center, I was very impressed with everything they got on their shelves. I couldn't leave. I mean, I could have took and rented a hotel and stayed over there for like 3 or 4 days, just going aisle by aisle by aisle. I think my eyes got about bigger than my glasses. That's how much stuff they have at Micro Center, believe it or not.
The more you buy, the more you save.
It's like heaven. It's like a PC heaven walking through there. They got everything nice, neat, organized. And make sure you got your drink and snacks, by the way. Ooh, nasty. There. That one over there didn't have ice. Oh. Ooh, lordy, water don't have ice is like warm. Ugh. But anyway, let's move on down the road. Okay, this here at Micro Center is, they got 18 items available to ship. Usually Micro Center, it's in-store buying only, but they opened up a little bit of a shipping thing if you want to buy some stuff for the shipping, like graphics cards. They got a little page that you can, look on and see what they got available to ship. They got a 4070 Super Dual right here. It says 4070 Super Dual Evo. Huh. What's Evo about it? What is Evo about it? Let me, guys. Same graphics card. But I didn't pay $10 more for it. But still. That's the card I use, Look, I am not pushing this card on you whatsoever. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not going to do that. They got right here, 7900 GRE. And when we get to the end, I got a couple things I want to explain to you guys. They got a 4070 Super Eagle. They got the white ones. They got a 7800 XT Hellhound. Looks like a white one for $599. But yeah, I'd rather you guys pay, like, when they come down in price, like down to $479. I've seen them at $479. I'd rather you guys pay a cheaper price. Either shop around on Amazon or Newegg, do your homework before you decide to buy. You know, I'm not trying to steer you away from Micro Center. You know, I'm not trying to do that, but I'm just saying if you want to go with the best, cheapest price possible, that's what you want to go with. And that's what I try to find is the best, cheapest price possible. You know, and when we do our monthly reporting on the prices on graphics cards, then you'll see from the last month and the month before, you'll see if it which way it's going on the forecast, if it's going to be good enough for you or it's going to be bad enough for you. Let's see. 459, no, I wouldn't spend that. 459, 20 bucks more. If they got a 7800 XT right here, again, if they got a 7800 XT for 20 bucks more, go for the 7800 XT. That's my best advice to you. The less you pay, the more you save. Let's see. I don't believe anybody's going to be buying GTX 1650s. They keep them on the market for the simple fact, even though that NVIDIA discontinued GTX, some places are still selling them, and these are workstation. Some people want to buy the GTX, but they don't realize once NVIDIA cuts off the software for the GTX series, then you only can go upwards, like to the 20 series, the 30 series, 40 series, or 50 series. If you're going to spend $200, $300, $400 on a graphics card, go all the way to the top. Don't mess around with the bottom. Go all the way to the top. Do yourself that favor. Don't mess with any of the bottom feeding graphics cards. Just go to the top. This way, Jensen says it, the more you buy, the more you save.
The more you buy, the more you save.
So more you go up in generation, the more you save. That's what I say. Because I've already went through this little ordeal of the pricing and everything else, and I can tell you that looking at these prices are giving you guys a good idea what today's prices are right now. And when the 50 series comes out, then you'll see what the pricing of that is. Something tells me that the pricing of the 50 series is going to be a little bit overpriced, and then people are going to run back to not the new generation, but the last generation, which is going to be the 40 series, or it's going to be the 7000 series with AMD. Since AMD says they're not going to put out their 8000 series just yet, that they don't want to put out their 8000 series discrete graphics cards, which everybody's saying, oh, they got one graphics card built, but they don't want to put it out there. Makes no sense. You want to cater to not making money. That's a bad move. If you build something and it works, put it out there. Take the backlash from later. Tell everybody it's a mid-level card. Put it at a mid-level price. If you don't think it's going to be high-end, then put it mid-level. I mean, make it, if you don't want to make a $1,600 graphics cards, you don't want to make $1,000 graphic cards, then make $400 graphics cards. Make $200 to $400 graphics cards. People will buy them. That's where the 2, 4, and 6, people only go up to the max of 6. Majority of the people will only go up to that max 600 mark. But 200, 400, and 600 is what they look for. $200 graphics card, $400 graphics card. They really don't want a $600 graphics card. They rather have a $400 graphics card, maximum $500. I know that sounds a little confusing. 2, 3, 4, and 5 is what they're really looking for. Because the way inflation is and everything else, they rather have a $200 graphics card that they can game with, or a $300, or a $400, or a $500. You hit that $600 mark, they look at it, it better be high end at $600. Hitting the mid-level to high end at $600. But if it underperforms at $600, they're not going to buy it. So, Moving on down the road, people. I'm going to keep rolling it. I know I'm not... excuse me. I know I haven't done much on Computex, but Saturday at 5 p.m. Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's California time. I'm going to have a live stream, and we're going to be talking about Computex and what's happened from Sunday of last week all the way up till today or tomorrow or yesterday. From Sunday to Thursday, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about AMD. We're going to talk about Intel. We're going to talk about NVIDIA, Asus. BioStar even got into the action. I did a video on for BioStar. We're just going to mix it all up, and y'all are going to join in and be there, and we're just going to mix it all up and talk about whatever happened at Computex. Whatever we've seen on the videos that look good or whatever, bring it up into the chat. We'll talk about it. You guys are the stars. Do remember, all my subscribers and my viewers, you all are the stars. I'm not trying to make myself the star of the show. You guys help support the channel. You are the star of the show. If you didn't know that, now you do. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you guys for the ones that have subscribed, the ones that are watching my videos, the ones that are helping us get to the 500 mark of subscribers. Thank you. You have been rock stars. And also, too, one of my loyal subscribers left me a Discord message and said to me, and this come from Machine, and yes, Machine, you are very helpful, trust me. His question is to everybody, if you had to choose RX 7600 XT at $305, or would you choose a 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte for $450? So which one would you choose? The 7600 XT, which has got 16 gigabytes of VRAM, or the 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes? Which one would you choose? Leave a comment down for him and say, hey, Machine, I would pick this graphics card. Just let him know. I could already tell you, if it was me, I would choose whatever one that would give me the best price possible. But all in all, the 4060 Ti Super, the 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte still measures in like the 8 gigabyte version. So it, gain wise, there's not too much more to gain. But with the 7600 XT, with a little bit less price, that's a little bit of a budget card, and I would choose the 7600 XT. If it was me and I was stuck in a pinch, yeah, that's the way I would choose myself. But anyway, this is the end of the video, so if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on your notification bell so you know when I post the next video. Until the next time in the next video, we'll see you on the next one, guys.